We start off the show with the big news here in Washington. The report that wide receiver Terry McLaurin and the Commanders have agreed on a contract extension. The deal would reportedly keep Terry in the burgundy and gold through at least 2025. Here's what Santana Moss had to say about the news.
It's a great day in Washington knowing that the Commanders have signed their most consistent weapon in the past 3 years to a 3-year extension. Hey, I'm ecstatic about this signing. I know that Terry has done it time and time again with quarterback after quarterback after quarterback. Now with the help on the outside and the help in the backfield from the likes of a Carson Wentz, I know Terry coming to do work to show you that he's worthy of that bag.
Once the deal is signed and official, we will have much more for you on this. But for now, the guys and I are dialing in on the defense here on Command Center. And joining me now is Logan, Paulsen, and Santana Moss. Let's talk defense expectations. Do we know what to expect of them at this point in the season right now?
I mean, I think there's some good things that were kind of laid. The foundation was laid during OTAs to get you excited about the season. Mm-hmm. But again, it's still so early. Who knows for sure?
Very early. One of the things you can always kind of go off of just who they were a year ago. You know what I mean? What they were a year before that. And just say, we don't have many guys that's removed from that defense. So you expect these guys to come in, hit on all cylinders, knowing you still have a lot of familiar faces.
And a lot of those guys we've heard as well say that they have a lot to prove because they want to play better than they did last season. And that would include the play of Chase Young. Well, we know his season was cut short last year when he tore his right ACL in Week 10 against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Had surgery to repair it and has been working hard to make sure he is ready to return to the level we saw when he was named the NFL's Defensive Rookie of the Year in 2020. I had the chance to catch up with Chase in a Commanders conversation. Chase, good to see you here. We know you've talked a lot about how much the game's your passion. I think you were built specifically for this and you're living out that calling. But to not be able to play, to not be able to be on the field, to not be able to kind of help your unit and your team, how important is it for you to be able to kind of just be back around and get back to be able to do that again?
It means everything, just to see my teammates' face, talk to Tez while he's on the field, just try to help him with, certain little tips I might see that, he might be in his stance. Just little things like that I couldn't do because most of the time I'm on the field with him. So just little stuff like that, talking to John, just seeing him lead the guys and, just watching them follow, man. I'm just here, trying to give my 2 cents if need be. And other than that, I'm just going to try to cheer my teammates on and just give them all the energy I can.
Does that then allow you to maybe see the game differently?
Definitely. From the sideline, it's definitely different. And, that's why, going back, I'm just trying to give my 2 cents. If, it says if his first step is short off the line, I'll let him know. Just little tips to just try to help him be the best player he can.
How do you think that will impact your game when you do return?
A lot. Even now I have just a lot more time to, watch old film from last year. Watch the new installs we have this year. And, just really learn it and feel like I can become it more. Just now that I'm, not on the field, but I just have more time to watch film and catch up on some of the mistakes I need to be corrected for next year.
What do you think the biggest growth that you will see or kind of seeing yourself now that, that rookie year's over, a major injury is past you very soon. Mm-hmm. And you're now going to go into year 3 under head coach Ron Rivera with guys that have been by your side and you're kind of used to. Where do you see that biggest next step for you?
Mentally, everything. I feel like, when you have a big injury, it kind of just reminds you that, things can happen. And it's, really how you respond. And I feel like, even right now, I'm doing all the right things, responding. Something like this, never really brought me down, too much. Obviously, I was sad because I got injured, but, I look at it on the bright side. I know when I come back, my leg is going to be the strongest they ever been, because I'm focused on my legs way more. So I try to be real optimistic and look on the bright side of things and, not go into a hole and, be sad and mad. So far from that. So, but just excited to just be back.
There's a lot of mental up and downs in this league without even having to go through injury, but we're glad to have you back here with your teammates. We know that's important, and I'm sure you guys will have some good laughs too. Pick you
Oh
up.
yeah, we already been having them.
Thank you. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
And we look forward to seeing you back on that field soon.
Yes, ma'am.
Here's a look at the numbers Chase put up in his first 2 seasons in Washington in 2020, earning Defensive Rookie of the Year honors, accounting for 44 tackles, 7.5 sacks, and 4 forced fumbles. And then in his sophomore season, well, of course, it was cut short to injury, but he did pick up 26 tackles, 1.5 sacks, and 2 forced fumbles. Let's talk a little bit about what we can expect now as he goes into year 3, but into year 3 coming off of injury. Now, plenty of guys come back from ACLs to have outstanding seasons and just as strong, if not even stronger than they were before. Santana, what is success for him this year, though?
Having a productive season will look like him just making it through, I think, all 17 games. To me, I think you have to have a skill as a player, not too high, but set the bar one at a time. You want to accomplish 1 feat at a time, man. The only reason why I can speak on this is because I was a guy that dealt with injury and remember coming off of that. You know, I dealt with it in my rookie season, so I just wanted to finish the season the next year. And then every game I wanted to build on that. After I finished the game, I wanted to build on it as far as stats-wise, catching passes, having a little more yards, making touchdowns. So he have to scale himself a little, lighter than what you might think guys might have expectations.
Yeah, and I don't think people understand that. I don't think people understand kind of the gravitas of coming back from an injury. He hasn't played football for a long time. He's not getting exposed to these practices, right? So for him just to get back on the field and just kind of feel comfortable again within this defense, I think is going to be extremely important because it does take a time to get your play legs back together, right? So I think that's something that I want to see for him. Be healthy, be happy, and get back to playing football.
I feel like being healthy and happy might not be enough, though.
I mean,
not for a player like him, because even last year coming in, like everybody was wanting a little bit more because he came in faster and stronger than most people in the league. Like, when does he get to developing those extra moves to really take that next step, though?
I mean, now it's even harder now because regardless of how great he trained this offseason, how good he feel about himself, mentally and physically, you have to get over the hump, especially mentally. This game played more on your mental capacity than it is your athletic ability. And so he has to make sure that he gets out of his own head in a sense.
How long does something like that take then?
It's an individual thing, right?
Yeah.
I look at pass rushers specifically, and pass rush is a dance, man. It's a rhythm, 3 steps to the move, right? And he's not having that opportunity to work that. He won't have that opportunity until he gets back running full speed. He can't work it at 80%. So to me, I just want to see him get back, right? That's step 1. Get back. Let's get that knee cleared up, and then we can start worrying about his production and the numbers and all those things the fans want to see. I want Chase Young to be healthy for this year because I want him to be a Commander for a long time.
I think people like to put numbers on it, reasonably so. We want to say, hey, we drafted you number 2 overall. We want at least double digits in sacks every single year, but to both of your points, he does have to get back, get over that mental hurdle first, and then go perform on the field. Now, he was on the field, not playing, but helping coach kids learn the game at his very own elite football camp here in Ashburn. We mic'd him up. Check it out.
Hey, I'm mic'd up too. I'm mic'd up. Man, hey, it's time to go. All y'all 7th and 8th graders, I want to see y'all go. It's about competition. We're gonna go at it. See who can dance, who got footwork. Oh. Let's one, let's go. Now, what y'all play? Quarterback, receiver? Okay. Finish, we'll pass the line. Finish. Oh, he passed right there. I see you, big dog. Finish. Y'all good?
Yes, sir.
Hey, I got that for everybody. What's up, fool? What's your name, man?
Yes, sir.
What's your name?
Aiden.
What's up with you, bro? Chase, bro. Y'all good? Y'all good? Hey. How fast are your feet? Let's go. Okay. Oh, yeah. Hey. All right. Who gonna lead? I'm looking for leaders. We working. 2 on me, 2 on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Well, Chase Young and his defensive end counterpart Montez Sweat, both really important pieces to the Commanders' defensive front. And when they are both healthy, they are a formidable pair to try and take on.
Thanks so much, Julie. Here with Shawn Springs to talk about someone who I think is a pretty special football player, and that's Montez Sweat. And all offseason, I was hearing about that this guy right here, Trayvon Walker, is an athletic freak. But when I look at these numbers, man, what do you see?
I see a smile on my face because as a defensive back, when you see those type of measurements, vertical inch, 36-inch vertical, 4.4 as a defensive lineman.
And then the arm length too, man. You love that stuff.
I'm thinking sacks. I'm thinking like, you only got to cover for little bit of time, and the guy with that type of speed and athleticism will get to the quarterback.
Yeah, and that's exactly, I'm glad you brought that up. Athleticism and speed and power, and that's what he brings to you in a dynamic way. And let's take a look. This is one of my favorite plays of the year. This is a backup tackle, but watch him attack this edge here. See the arm length, see those 35.5-inch arms. You see him tack this and the power to finish this rush, and this ball would have been completed. But that's what that defensive end play gives you.
And you're talking about not only a completed pass, but you're talking about a completed pass, Logan, in the red zone. So when the ball has to come out quick, and the fact that he was able to use his speed, use his long arms to affect the throw, he not necessarily the sack, but he was able to affect the throw, so therefore it wouldn't have completed a touchdown.
Absolutely. And then the thing about him, he's not the most polished pass rusher, but again, the arm length, the physical tools, they get him out of some stuff. And watch his hand use here. Love this. Get this guy turned out. Get out of here. What's he doing? And you get a sack on one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL.
And when a lot of times what happens, when you are that athletic, people talk about, well, you don't have a lot of moves. You don't have a lot of good technique. Oftentimes you may not. You don't
need it
because you're able to do what we just saw in the play. So he was able to use his hands, get the offensive tackle's hands off of him, and still keep his outside leverage and make a play on Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, love it. And then again, like you talk about being disruptive and awareness, you're going to get a down, you're going to pull, and then this tackle's going to pull. And watch how disruptive this young man is here on this play, grabbing the tackle, taking the down blocker, and this running back has nowhere to go because he has to bubble, and Allen's able to get in on the play.
And see, those are the plays that go unnoticed, but when you're as a defense and you're watching that tape, you understand how important that is for everybody else to be able to run to the ball. Now you got an outside edge defender who's getting up the field, making the ball bubble, allows the linebackers to be able to scrape and run.
Absolutely.
So now the whole defense can play because of one man's sacrifice and awareness on the play.
And I'm really glad you brought up the term bubble because they play an interesting technique on the edge here. I think most people are used to seeing these guys kind of get outside here, right? But they actually attack the inside shoulder of the offensive lineman, and their goal here is to get pushback so they can play this gap and this gap, which is something that you don't see around the NFL too much. But when you got 35.5-inch arms, you can do that. Check him out here, getting great pushback. So when this back comes up, he's got a bubble, lose ground, which allows him and Jamin, like you just said, to run to that football.
And we talk about playing two gaps. So now you two-gap technique from a defensive player standpoint, you have to be an engaged offensive tackle. You have to be able to lock him out with your strong, long arms. You got to be physical at the point of attack. A lot of guys like to go upfield because they have speed, but often you actually play physical. He played physical at the point of the track. He was able to make a play on the ball, or at least make the ball bubble again, or at least squeeze his gap. Two gaps. He actually played two gaps for those at home.
Yeah, because he's getting such good vertical push here. And again, you see his eyes here. They're on the back, right? So he knows he can protect this C gap. And like you saw in that last clip, he can play the edge, and you mentioned the arm length.
And then low man wins. It's all about the leverage. Oftentimes, if you can get up underneath someone and you can use your leverage, you can affect the play.
Yeah, and there he is for the tackle for loss. And again, that's the skill set he brings, man. Big, physical, athletic dude who loves to play football. Excited to get all these guys healthy again.
All right, thank you guys. Now Warren Sapp, he came by minicamp to work with the D-line. Head over to commanders.com to check out the story from team reporter Zach Selby. And we have much more coming your way on Command Center. After the break, former captain London Fletcher and current linebacker Cole Holcomb watch some game tape and talk technique. And a little later, we know how strong our defense can be, but where do we stack up in the NFC East? Our guys rank the defenses in the division, and you don't want to miss that. And Commanders training camp is coming up July 27th through August 18th. Camp will be held at the park out in Ashburn, Virginia. Fans can enter a lottery for a chance to win tickets to come out and watch practice. The team will also hold an open practice at FedEx Field for any fans who want to check that out. For free tickets and more training camp information, head over to commanders.com.
Okay, so what do we
got?
got?
As I come in, one of the things I want to do is I want to be able to measure it, take my face mask, my hands, and just put it right into here.
Yeah.
Okay?
Are you
right
hitting with the
into
hat
here.
too, or no?
No, I'm just trying to connect right here. Why? Because if I engage this way, what happens is I lose vision.
I see. And the back can go wherever.
Correct. But if I play with my hands initially, and whatever happens from this point, I can now locate. But the biggest thing I have to do is I have to defeat you first. One of the biggest mistake I watch guys do is they go like this.
And right, yes.
That's where you get in trouble. So if I come in, I'm focused in this way, and I strike you here, okay, and I work through it, I can now locate.
I don't think we're going to see Coach suiting up anytime soon, but of course able to teach technique to the linebackers for sure. And speaking of linebackers, well, Cole Holcomb is going to be challenged with leading this unit, and we had him sit down with one of the greats from Washington, London Fletcher, to go over some game film.
We're going to check out 3 of your plays
down 27-14. Obviously, you're thinking they're going to try to run the ball. So, what goes through your mind right here?
So, I was actually a little late on the key.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh, this is, like you said, it's a 4-minute situation. I think they're gonna run it out.
Right. So
try and run as much clock off as they can. So like when you got that
pause
stretch
it right
action,
here. Right now, at the middle linebacker position, I don't know if you've been able to train your eyes to be able to see the tight end, see him release. That would immediately allow you to get back to that
exactly.
a lot faster.
So this was one of those situations I already had it made up in my mind that they were going to run the ball, so I was going to be super aggressive and try and get a TFL and so we can get a quick timeout. But so in this coverage, actually, our Bobby can, in this coverage on boots, like I have juice hider second pain.
Right. Okay.
There was none, so I can just get my body in the window because Bobby's crashing down on it, but he saw that I was there, so he stayed up and protected that post.
Okay. Yeah.
And
you end up with a pick six.
I ended up getting kind of lucky in terms of because if you rewind it, Daniel Wise, number 92, does a great job. As soon as he sees it, he's going straight to the quarterback. So the late key actually kind of hid me behind D Wise, so he didn't see me. He just saw the tight end was wide open.
Right. All right. Let's see some of the old man film.
Yeah. Let's see what we got.
See what we got here. I haven't seen. This might be in black and white. I played a long time ago. Oh, it actually
They got
is.
jokes.
Are you kidding me?
They got jokes.
They got a lot of jokes. Wow.
I see you though. They tried to get you with the cheese in front of you.
They did. So
you weren't playing on it.
So this if we go back, this was a coverage. Poor Tony. I love going against the Cowboys. So right here, let's run this back. So we used to play a ton of defenses where I covered Jason Witten man-to-man coverage, and D'Angelo, who's playing the nickel, he has Cole Beasley in the slot.
Yeah,
he's manning up on him. So we made this change at halftime based on what they were doing. So once I saw Witten hook up, I was going to drop him for D'Angelo, and then I'd fall back into that window for the deep dig. We call it the sucker route.
Yeah.
And it worked out to perfection because if Romo throws it to Witten, it's going to be intercepted. If he throws it to Hall and I celebrate. If he throws it to Cole Beasley, I'm going to pick it. This is a better example. So right here, you see how D Hall jumps that?
Yep.
He throws it there. I'm in that window. He's thinking he's going to have Beasley open in that second window.
Especially like you said, you guys are playing man. He's thinking just based off leverage right now. Cole's got D'Angelo beat.
Exactly.
So
that was a great game. That was a Thanksgiving Day game, man. The old footage. Wow, that's funny.
Can't believe they put it in black and white. They tried to.
All right.
Cole Holcomb had a strong season in 2021 with 142 tackles, 83 of them solo. A sack, 1 forced fumble, and 2 interceptions, 1 a pick six against the Cowboys. Now, he should play a big part in the linebacking core for the Commanders this upcoming season. And coming up next, it is time to rank the defenses. Logan and Santana are back, and we are seeing how the Commanders stack up to the competition. Could be some controversy, so keep it right here. Once again, we want to revisit the big news. The report that wide receiver Terry McLaurin and the Commanders have agreed on a contract extension. The deal reportedly keeps Terry in the burgundy and gold through at least 2025. We'll have much more for you on this as soon as the deal is officially announced. Okay, guys, let's rank the defenses in the NFC East. We know it's early, but we know what the teams did in free agency and in the draft to try and improve on where they finished last year. Logan, I'm going to start with you. Where would you go in the NFC East defense?
Yeah, so I think to me, it's pretty obvious. I think it's the Philadelphia Eagles. I think they've done a really nice job, not only through the draft, but in terms of free agency. They've signed 2 kind of top flight corners, And again, signing that big man in the middle who's going to be mentored by Fletcher Cox, I think just is going to bolster the middle of that defense.
I'm absolutely with you with this one. I think when you have a guy like Jordan Davis coming in, you can just think of the potential that he's going to bring. N'Kobe Dean, I think he was ranked one of the better linebackers that fell a little bit in the draft because of injury. I think these guys are trending in the right direction.
Yeah, I think so too. And then second next thing is the Washington football team. And again,
it is us.
And because I think one of the things is I've seen them through OTAs. I've seen what they've been doing. And again, there's so much talent on that defensive front. Big question mark is Chase Young. How is he going to come back from that ACL? But again, very, very talented group. And I think they're going to galvanize much better, having all that back end secondary here for the OTA period.
And it's okay for us to be biased, because I can be a little biased with this. Although I did pick the Eagles because I want our guys to work a little bit.
Yeah, we're making work, Tanner.
I like what I see with our guys. I think last year was one of those setback years to make those guys understand that you can't be big, fat, and happy. So now I think it's a bounce back year.
Yeah, absolutely. And the strength of schedule too is a big thing. Again, and then Dallas is 3. I think this could easily switch depending on how things go. But they lost a couple key pieces. Randy Gregory to Denver, I think, is a big loss for them because they had that 3-headed monster in terms of pass rush. And again, this Dan Quinn system relies on pass rush. So can they generate that same pass rush without him there? I don't know. That's why they're 3.
I think the one thing that stands out more than anything is Dan Quinn. I mean, everywhere he played, that he found the way to make his defense be, the vocal point of the team. When you saw these guys play as well as they did last year and still get beat the way they did, having one of the better defenders, but he still gave up a lot of yards. Having Michael Parsons being phenomenal as a rookie, you kind of question, like, what is it? Is it the coaching or is it the player? So that's going to be a question mark.
Another thing I have is Diggs. Does he take a step back after that really productive year? And then the Giants. And again, the Giants have added some pieces, and I know you like this defense. I like this defense. But again, I just think the personnel is a little bit down at the moment. And I think, with that, the offensive struggles they're going to be having, they're going to be on the field a lot. I don't think they'll be very productive.
I mean, the D-line's probably coming to the season ranked, 22, they say, and you missing 2 of your better starters last year in the secondary. I think Logan Ryan and Bradbury. So it's going to be a question mark with these guys, just seeing how can they galvanize together and make up for those missing guys.
Absolutely. So that's our defensive ranking, and we're excited to see it all sticks out.
And that we will soon enough. Thank you guys, and thanks for joining us on this edition of Command Center.